like.
Seth just called me from inside. He came out to collect lettuce and found
poisonous snake in the world.
a snake. Oh my goodness. Oh!
Yeah, deadly. It's waiting to suck your brains out.
Stop! I don't know what kind of snake it is.
It's deadly, whatever it is.
Chickens, beware.
Uh-oh, Lou, you're crazy.
Oh man. That's pretty intense. I think it's just a garter snake, but I really have no idea. Let's Google it.
It's our anniversary. I don't think I should die on our anniversary.
Okay, to recap. Great segue, honey. Seth called me on a video chat from inside. He came out to pick lettuce, which, by the way, look at this amazing lettuce. We've got kale.
I wasn't planning on eating a salad, but I think I need to now.
Yeah, you need to get up your strength for this snake fest. Right down here, there's a snake, which I believe is just a garter.
Boa constrictor.
Not a boa constrictor.
With
just,
fangs like 8 inches
I
long.
believe just a garter snake.
Stop.
But my husband
No.
is not a fan of snakes. He called me. He called me freaking out. It's just a little garter snake, babe.
Oh, yeah. Just like a tarantula for you.
Not the same.
Yeah, the same.
Not the same. Look at his
that
little
thing.
head.
Zoom
I
in.
know, he's so cute.
It's got a triangular head.
It does not have a triangular
Well, every blade
head.
of grass on my foot, I think it's
Look,
a
it's
snake
just a
crawling
little.
all over me.
It's just a little baby snake.
Baby snake. Do you think that thing has like
What?
6 heads?
It has one head
No.
and one body.
Huge body.
Not quite.
8 foot long.
No, he's probably
a foot and a half.
18 inches. Yeah, he's probably 18 inches. Oh, there he is moving a bit.
Where?
He's not moving towards you. He wants nothing to do with you. He's hiding behind the strawberries. He's sniffing some clover. Anywho, I think we'll survive this snake attack. What do you think, hon? No? No? You won't survive?
Myocardial infarction.
There's a snake in my strawberries. Hey everyone. So I wanted to do our week 2 full garden tour and just kind of update everybody on the state of the garden and what we have going on here. So it is June 8th and we have finally had, I'd say, what felt like the first full week of good weather for this spring heading into summer season. I think we might have had one cool night in the last week, but every other night has been pretty, 50s and 60s, which thank goodness, because I feel like I started looking at some pictures of what last year's garden looked like and some videos, and by this time last year I already had baby cucumbers that were this big. I already, like, from ones that I planted from seed in the spring. I already had pretty tall tomato plants, like they were looking pretty good. So this year is definitely going a lot slower. We just started getting some of our wildflowers back up on the front wall that last year were really awesome. So I wanted to show you guys this because I need your opinions. So comment below with any ideas you have for this wall. So long story short, when we bought this house, our front yard, so this is our don't mind our ugly rain barrel there, this is our front yard, and all along the very front by the road, which is that front wall, there were 5 trees, and when we bought the house they had to put in a septic, so they had to take that all down and put in a septic field. So they also had to engineer this really big rock wall to keep the field in. So the rock wall starts like in our driveway and it goes all the way down and wraps around to, and do not mind these weeds, my goodness, you have no idea how hard it is to maintain this space. So it goes all the way to the front and it is a huge rock wall, and it's also super steep and hard to control. So we've tried several things. 2 summers ago, I came down here and painstakingly covered the whole thing with ground cloth to try and suffocate the grass and weeds, and it mostly worked, but a lot of stuff came up through. What I did was I took myrtle or periwinkle, which we have a ton of in the back of our house. I took a bunch of those and I transplanted them up here, and I was hoping to just cover this whole thing with ground cover. Well, it didn't work. Some of the periwinkle took, but the rest of it just was overcome with weeds. So then last year what we did was we tilled the whole thing, and we spread wildflower seeds in the beginning of the spring, and we had beautiful flowers. Some of which have come back up. I did another bag of wildflowers in the beginning of this year, but I didn't till it ahead of time, and I don't think they really took. But you could see some of these flowers, these pretty blue ones here. I don't know what those are, but they're super pretty. We have these orange ones that we have a lot of this year, more so than I remember last year. We have a bunch of like daisies. It's actually probably easier if I show you up the road or up on the top. And then before I go up, you have to see these gigantic elephant ear. I'm standing in the middle of our road. We don't have a lot of traffic, so it's not like a lot of people see this, but it's gross. I don't like it. So I don't know if you can see these elephant ear. It looks like something out of Jurassic Park. They're massive. Or not elephant ear, lamb's ear. They are so fuzzy. They're really cool. There's another one up there, but just these massive plants. The rest of this is a lot of grass, and I mean, you'll get every so often you'll get some really cute little flowers, these little things. I have no idea what they are. Some daisy type things, but we have no idea what to do with this space. I mean, it's just ridiculous, and it's a lot of maintenance, and it's a very steep hill, so like climbing up and down this thing is just so insane. So I'm always looking for ideas about how to, like, what we can do with it. The wildflowers were really pretty last year once they established, but I don't know if it's going to happen this year. I had so many zinnias last year from that wildflower mix, and I was really hoping that they would have reseeded this year, like drop their flowers, drop their seeds, but I don't see any zinnia babies. I don't see any, which is such a bummer, because if you are not familiar with zinnias, they are, I think, probably my favorite flower now. They're so pretty. They're just gorgeous. So yeah, any ideas, put them in the comments. Ground cover would be great, but I just can't get it to like establish there for some reason. It's worth a shot though. So that's the craziness of the front of our house. So let's take a look in the garden here, see what we got going on. So just so you see what we have to do to prevent the chickens. So we have this thing just like kind of staked into the ground. That's protecting the chickens from getting in. And then every time I come in here, I have to block it behind me because they will come in, no doubt. So our cool weather crops are looking pretty good. I mean, they are going to start bolting any second. In fact, one of the lettuces down here, that really light green one, it's got a stalk coming up in the middle, and that's because it's going to start its bolting. So it's going to start going to seed, which, you know, I'll pull it out at that point. The rest of the lettuce, though, I'm going to probably come out here, try and get a few more salads. We do have a lot of ants on here, but I'm going to try and get a few more salads out of it before it starts going to seed. These beets that I showed last week, I did do something with the beet greens last week. I'm in the shadow there, but can't really see much. There's some growth, but not a ton. So I don't think it's going to be a very good beet year for us. But, you know, I don't have a lot of luck with root vegetables. And that is just my curse. So if I just kind of show you the status of one carrot. Look at this little tiny carrot. So all these greens, little tiny carrot. So I don't think we're going to get a lot of carrots before they go to seed. I'm just going to throw that out for the chickens. So I'm not really banking on much of that either. So once, and the cauliflower as well. This is going to bolt any second. So I'm not going to get any cauliflower. Broccoli didn't even come up. So once the weather once they start to bolt, I'm going to just pull them out and put in some other things that will grow very quickly. My kale is still doing okay. Another few weeks and that might start bolting as well, based on what is happening in other zones that are a little bit ahead of us. My tomato plants over here are looking okay. This one's looking really good, actually. This was from seed, so that's pretty good. I didn't have to transplant this from inside or anything. I'm going to have to start winding this guy into the trellis, though. I should have started earlier. But I do have some bug damage going on this year, so I am going to have to start getting some, I don't know if I'm going to do neem oil. I'm going to try that. I don't know. We're going to play around with some pest control here because I'll show you on the other side. I've got a lot of, oh, see, there's a chicken. Hi, Flissa. You trying to get in here, girlfriend? I'll give you a beet green. That should appease you. Get you one of these nastier ones. Here. There you go. You want to come in, Ted? There you go. All right. So, yeah, these guys are not looking that good over here. There's one down there. He's just not going to grow. I'm just going to have to pull that out. And these sugar snap peas, I'm not sure we're going to get. These are pretty crazy, these tendrils. I'm not sure we're going to get anything out of those before it starts to get too hot. This spring has just been so weird. On this side, this plant is crazy. And this was the one from inside the house that I actually planted in the winter to try and grow in the greenhouse or in my sunroom. And it grew, but then it was really starting to die, and I was just going to let it die. But then when I lost a bunch of my plants, I was like, oh my God. So I took it out here and planted it outside. So just going to try and weave it in a little bit more. It does not have one main stem, which is what you really want when you're trellising your tomatoes. It has like 2 or 3 main stems. So I did not get to prune that guy in time. This is actually one of its stems that I planted next to it. So they're doing all right. A few blossoms are coming up on this. And if you look down here, these are, again, the ones from inside. So it's like cheating because they started early. But they have some ripening tomatoes, so that's super exciting. Now, down here, I have 2 bean stalks and a marigold that I planted. So we'll see what happens. Actually, that's not bean. Maybe that's cucumber. It's some sort of squash. I don't know what I planted. Sometimes I just plant stuff and I don't even know what the heck I did. This is some lemon balm, which is a kind of mint. Oh, it smells so good. You can like literally just like rub it on your head when you're out here. Keeps the bugs away. That's some more lettuce that's going to start to go to seed. Yeah, it's looking a little wilty. So then over here we have strawberries. I just picked 2 fresh strawberries today. Now it's so weird. I put the same amount of, I got these as bare root strawberries, and I got the same amount in both, but that one just is not doing as well. I overwintered these last year, so got them last year, planted them, got some strawberries, not a lot. And then I covered them with a bunch of leaves and kept them close to the house, and they overwintered and survived. So I've got some in here, got some white fruit down there. They'll ripen up soon. Over here, I think these are squash. And then I have one here, another kind of, I planted like a bunch of different squash, and I don't even know what I planted at this point. But they're doing okay. They're actually surviving, which is surprising because they were looking pretty bad in the beginning there. These are some more tomato plants that are really doing well. I mean, This actually makes me feel better. It's a good thing I do these videos because I feel a lot better seeing these things and kind of reporting on them. Actually, look at the size of that stalk. I don't know if you can see, but it's like as thick as my thumb. Actually, a little thicker. So that plant's doing really well. Down here, I believe these are yarrow, which is a plant. Or a flower. I'm gonna have to move this guy because he's just getting suffocated by the tomatoes and my chamomile, which is here. So the chamomile was also from inside, and I transplanted it out here. It's been growing for a long time inside. And so that, what you can do is once they flower, you pick the little flowers off and you just leave them in a cardboard box to dehydrate them, and you can use them for tea. See that guy, once he opens up, I will get him. Hi, Chickie. What you doing, girl? The chickens love when they see me in the garden because, oh, they know they're going to get some goodies. See, like this guy. There we go. So pretty. Just going to pop this little head off, and then I will take it in and put it in my chamomile flower box. This is a cauliflower that completely went to seed, but it's really pretty and the pollinators seem to like it. So I'm just leaving it. I'm obviously not, see, little bug there. Obviously not getting any cauliflower from it, but that's okay. I have some more squash over here with a watermelon, I believe, that got covered up. I'm gonna probably have to move that guy as well. And then these are melons, either cantaloupe or Kajari melon. I have to try, and I tied this little guy up, but they are going the wrong way. They're like, trellis is over here and they're growing towards the sun, obviously, but I'm trying to get them to grow so I can trellis them. Now over here is where I have a lot of this bug damage. So these are eggplants, and you can see the holes in the leaves. I believe these are from something called the flea beetle. Yeah, I think so. And I'm gonna have to spray them with an organic kind of pesticide. And I think that they're yep, here they are. You can actually see them. Get off of there, little guys. Try and just hit them off. Yeah, that's not good. So luckily this tomato plant's pretty big, so it can kind of withstand some of that, hopefully. But we'll have to see here. I'm trying to get it trellised, trying to train it, but I haven't been doing a lot of pruning on these. So once they get a lot bigger, I'm probably going to come in here and just kind of take off some of these smaller branches down here, just to kind of retrain it to go and keep the healthy ones there. I took some of those random tomato plants that had popped up and I just transplanted them over here. I have no idea what I'm going to do with them. I counted, and altogether I had 36 random transplant tomato plants. So that's just crazy. I'm not sure. These might be the onion's flowers, and I think I might need to get rid of them if I want to keep the onion growing. See how they're starting to, this guy's starting to fall over, but it's not like he's actually a full onion yet. So I don't really know what to do about that. First time growing onions. I'm going to go look that up. I think once they start falling over, that's when they're usually supposed to be done, but I don't think that guy's done. So, you know, all this gardening stuff is just like living and learning. I'm, you know, a novice in terms of some of these vegetables and stuff I've never planted, so I'm learning as I go. Here's some marigolds. They're good to plant with the tomatoes. So also something I've read with the flea beetles, a good thing to do is to plant radishes next to them, because it's like a trap crop, they call it. So basically you're drawing attention away from the plant that you want. Ooh, it's hot out here. Away from the plant that you want to keep, and you're drawing them, and apparently the flea beetles really like radishes. So you'd plant the radish, and then they would go to the radish, and then you could just get rid of the radish once you're done with it. So it's pretty crazy though, because it's like, just goes to show that that area has those flea beetles really bad. I think the tomatoes on this side might have it as well. I've never dealt with a pest like this, so, you know, we'll see. So I'm going to try planting some radish seeds in there and see if I can get some to germinate. Radishes germinate so fast. It's pretty crazy. So if we look back down, those are my eggplants, my tomato, my melons, marigolds, and then, oh man, check out this purple opal basil. Oh, I wish you had smell-o-vision because it smells so good. And then this is another basil, maybe? Yeah. But they smell so good. Actually, I don't know if that is basil. I don't know, but these two are. These are more eggplants, but they're just not as healthy looking. I don't know what's going on with this really dead leaf here. And then my peppers. So they're still puny, but they're doing okay. The lime green color apparently for peppers is actually good. When they're really, really dark green, apparently that means that they're putting like too much of their energy into their leaves and not necessarily going to be focusing on fruiting. But I actually wouldn't mind if they grew a little bit more because they're so tiny. So, and there's like a little bud in the middle that almost looks like it's going to try and flower, but hopefully not. You're not big enough, dude. You got to grow. You got to get a little bigger before you start flowering. So over on this side, we've got more kale. Got some dino kale, blue scotch curled kale, and all of these random tomato plants. There's still so many that I did not transplant yet. This beautiful bean plant. That guy's going to be really nice. So I've got several beans. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bean plants and a field of tomatoes that I have no idea what I'm going to do with. I think this is a zucchini. It's some type of squash, and this thing is getting really big, which is awesome. More tomatoes. There's another one back there, but notice the difference. This guy is like so much bigger and very healthy stalks, so that's good. Now on this side, I have cucumbers, but they're taking so long to come in that I actually had a cucumber growing inside that I transplanted yesterday. Transplanted, and then I just wove it around. I had to cut it. So see how they have these little tendrils? I actually had to cut it because it was already around a wire in the house in my sunroom. But this is exciting because it has little babies on it already. I had them inside. I've already pulled 2 cucumbers off this guy inside over the season. So I'm hoping that this transplant is successful and that it keeps growing now that it's outside. It's definitely a gamble, but I wasn't going to get more out of it inside anyway, probably. So at least now it's got a fighting chance at being pollinated by an actual bug as opposed to me with a paintbrush. So that's what I had to do inside. There's some more babies on it, so we'll see. And these cucumbers are they're just kind of like stunted. I don't know. I didn't plant them close enough to the trellis, and this one's actually got flowers, so that's really hopeful, I should say. So that's basically what we got going on there. Got another some flowers in this one, but they're just like barely doing anything. Tomato I transplanted, another tomato. I just did that one yesterday. That's why it's all wilty. I had to water it in. But hi Ted. You enjoying the garden tour, bud? So the only other thing is really, let's see. Come on, Ted. The other tomato plants in the front, those are my cherry tomato plants on the front trellis. And those are actually, I can't believe that they survived like they did. I transplanted some from the random volunteer tomatoes over here. But most of these, wow, and it's actually setting fruit. This guy here, it's exciting. I feel like I should pick that fruit because it's still so young, it's still so little. And this guy here, which he is like totally facing the wrong direction. Try and get him in here. Not sure that's gonna work. Next to this bean plant, I'll just let him grow a little taller and then I'll try and train him. Missed the boat on that guy. There's marigolds, some more sweet peas I don't think that are going to come up. And some tomatoes over here. Nobody's got fruit yet. But again, these were super damaged. They all looked like this after that frost. So, pretty amazing. Tomatoes are so resilient. Here's another sugar snap pea with those crazy tendrils. And it captured a tomato plant that I just planted yesterday. This guy's got to come back. But if not, it's okay. Those are my free tomatoes that I got. So what I did, we have this grape arbor that Seth built. And our grape trees are just not, or our grape bushes that we got are just not looking so hot. So for right now, I'm just going to I just transplanted some of those rogue tomatoes in here. I know they look all sad, but they're actually going to come back up most likely. Watered them in, and I did more on this side this morning. I mean, whatever the chickens don't eat, they will grow, hopefully. I also have over here 2 blueberry bushes that we've had. I started them last year, but I totally ignored them. So they are very neglected. You notice coffee grounds on the bottom. I'm trying to make sure their seeds are, or their soil's acidic. I have to cover them in the plastic because, as Flissa will demonstrate, I'm sure, they love this area. It should be a garden bed. We wanted it to be a garden bed, but they love to do dust baths in it. So I kind of just resigned to the fact that they're going to destroy this whole area. It's like chicken territory. They did it over here too. You can actually see like the indents where they lay and dust themselves. So I want my blueberry bushes there, but I'm not going to be able to get that whole area back. So I'm trying to just protect them till they get a little bit bigger and more established. I've kept you long enough. Have a great day, you guys. I will see you definitely next week for another garden tour. So I'm trying to do them on Mondays. So you can always subscribe, hit the like button, and then that way next Monday you'll get an alert that I posted another garden update. If this is your first year gardening, I do just want to say, give it a chance. This is definitely a harder year than last year. So, you know, give it time, be patient, and just remember that you're learning right now. Like, you are learning same thing. I mean, Lulu, can you stop? Thanks, girl. Some of the stuff like the onions, I have no idea what I'm doing. I just kind of looked it up and planted it, and I'm just gonna play it by ear. It's learning. So, you know, anything you do is better than just getting all caught up and worried about it and not doing it. Just try it. See what happens. If you fail, you fail. You didn't lose anything in the meantime. Some soil, that's okay. You can reuse soil. You know, some seeds, that's okay. They come in a packet with a lot of seeds. So if it fails, it's okay. This year is a hard one. The spring's been weird. You can talk to anybody. They'll say the same thing. So just don't give up faith, you know, keep on going. All right, guys, I'll see you soon. Bye.